So welcome guys. Welcome. This is the Data Analyst Playbook Cohort 2 and today's topic we'll try as much as we can to discuss the importance of business understanding in data analysis. Uh yes, I like starting here and a lot of us would understand why as we go on. So why is business understanding really important to each and every one of us? Yes, business understanding is kind of like the first step for every data analyst. Yes, if you don't understand, how would you try to solve the problem? You can't at that point if you don't understand. Data in itself is useless. Yes, it is useless if there is no understanding to it. Let's say our real operations analytics project we want to work on. A lot of us, this might be the first time you'll be working on this project. What's the first thing you need to do about it? You need to read up about it. You need to understand how the real system works. Yes, we know we don't have a proper rail system around us right now. So what do we do at this point? We can, as we like, to go into research to understand the business problem. Analysts must understand the industry and the operations. Yes, you need to understand the operations or the operational aspect in every business you try to work on. Let's take, for instance, the rail operations analytics. You haven't seen a rail before. Let's take it as that you don't know what really happens in the industry. You don't know how people get on the platform. You don't know if this industry is one of the best transportation around the world, globally, or is it nationally? How does rail systems decongest the streets? How does rail system help people go by traffic each day, go to work each day, move faster? How does this help people move goods faster? So it's better we understand the industry and as well how it operates. Next, business context guides the type of analysis performed. If you have this business context, it will help you to guide the kind of analysis you perform, and also it will help you to tie the insights you have with the decisions that are going to be made with your analysis. So the data analysis mindset you should have is asking questions such as, what problem is the organization trying to solve? Now, mind you, one data can solve multiple problems. Yes, one data, one information gotten can solve multiple problems. So it is in your best interest to know the problem at the point of which you have collected your data, at the point you are trying to solve. Don't try to be the jack of all trades at that point to try to solve every problem they have in the organization. Yes, it will only be at your index. So, what do we do when we get this information? We ask questions. Ask questions as, so what do you plan to solve, or what are you trying to solve with the information you've given to us? Now, who are the stakeholders? Who am I reporting to? Who are the management people these reports are to get to? Yes, very important question, because it also informs the kind of analysis you give to them. Now, there are different kinds of dashboards you build. They are operational, they are executive, and stuff like that. So, at what point do I employ an operational dashboard? At what point do I need to employ one or two different kinds of dashboards? So these are certain things we need to look out for when we are trying to create reports. So another question is, what decisions will be made from this analysis, and what matrices defines success? Now, it is good to quantify your analysis, your matrices, KPIs, anything. It is good you know exactly what you're looking or trying to achieve. If you don't quantify them, how do you know when you have met your goals? So, the matrices that are put before you by virtue of the data you have received. How do we now know when we have achieved this problem is also a mindset we need to have. Understanding the business problem. Now let's take the rail transportation system as our problem that we are trying to solve. So one of the problems that are being seen or generally involved in rail transportation systems are passenger congestions. You find that certain carriage in a rail system, find that there are too many people inside the rail system. Yes. Another thing is revenue optimization. How do you know if people are actually flying this route through ticketing? Do they pay for their fares? Do they try to uh, smuggle things or smuggle their way into the train stations? So it is also one thing to look at. And another important one is scheduling. Scheduling efficiency in train system or in transportation system is really important. Why is it really important to look into scheduling? Scheduling is in certain systems where the trains come by themselves, like they have no drivers, they're automated and stuff like that. So these schedules or automated system makes it really interesting that when this train comes, how often do they come? Do we run at loss when this train comes? So there are a lot of questions we can ask just by collecting data. If we need more data, then we can also try to chart the position to which our data needs to be collected. So it is very important we have a business mindset to certain things. Now, from business questions to data questions, let's see the difference between asking a business question and also asking a data question. So the business question will be, when do passengers travel the most? Yes. I think most of you would have said, oh, when do passengers travel the most? It looks like a business question. But in the data side of it, you can ask it this way. What day and hour have the highest passenger count? Now, this is you trying to solve the business problem. Let's also ask the next question. Which routes generate the most revenue? Now, in the data question, you can ask, what routes have the highest ticket sales revenue? You see how we have varied the business questions and the data question. Now, for you as data analyst, you should also have the business mindset in order for you to respond to these questions. But invariably, what you're responding to the business questions, you will also ask it in the data way, because you need those variables, those matrices to answer these business questions. So you've seen the distinction between the business and the data questions raised. Now, let's now go to our language, data modeling. Yes, whether it is in your spreadsheets or on Power BI, you need to model your data, especially when you have multiple tables you're working on and you need to join them together and you need to create relationships. So it is very important that we allow or learn how to model our data because it will help us a lot. Now, the case study is real operations analytics. So what do we try to achieve here? We will try to achieve or learn about passengers traffic patterns. We try to learn about revenues from ticket sales. We try to look or see how we try to adjust route performance, and then we'll now go to station demands. So what will enable us achieve all of this? It is by understanding the problem. Really important. Understand the problem. I have the data is already set. Your task is already ready to be pushed to everyone today. You would get all of that today, and it is important that we all go through these items that have been given to us. And if you have questions, that's why we have the group. Make sure at every point in time you ask questions. As a data analyst, you're also mandated. It is a mandatory skill to ask questions, and not just asking questions. You should ask the right questions because it will help you. Now, when you're submitting, you should submit your data models in Power BI and dashboards, or any of it. You should submit it in Power BI or Excel. Uh, you should have a screenshot of your dashboards for um, easy perusing, and also a short business insight report. Don't send me just the screenshots of your Power BI dashboards or your Excel dashboards. I wouldn't use it if there are no reports attached to them. So you should always focus on the what the data shows you and the why it matters. So thank you. This is the session for today. I don't know if we have any question. Do we have any question?